Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a great start to the new year so far. I'm super excited to share with you something that I know can completely revolutionize your life. It will help you to change the way that you react to people and things, and therefore help change your world from the inside out. The type of meditation that I'm introducing to you is from the Vipassana tradition. It is what mindfulness meditation is based off of. In my corporate workshops, I always ask the question, what is the goal of meditation? And I get some really great answers. People say, well, it's to reduce stress, or it's to increase focus and productivity. And actually, all of these things are wonderful benefits of meditation, but they are not the final goal. The real goal of meditation, get this, is liberation from suffering, what we call nirvana, not like the band, like the heavenly state of no more suffering. So it might seem like a tall order to say that the goal of meditation is liberation from suffering, but let me break it down for you and explain how this can actually be attained. So let's take a look at what causes us to suffer. When I'm in my corporate workshops in the corporate setting, I ask this question, and often people will say to me, well, what causes me to suffer is stress, or what causes me to suffer is feeling too busy, like I don't have any time. So if we really break it down, we see that our suffering is in two categories. We're either resisting or have an aversion to something that we have that we don't want, let's say stress, or we have a craving. We want something that we don't have, let's say more time. And this is really the main cause of our suffering. The Buddhists will call it craving and aversion. I'd like us to do a little experiment together. Close your eyes. If you're not comfortable to close your eyes, it's okay. You can leave them open. Let's take a deep breath together. And exhale with a sigh. I'm going to say a few words, and I'd like you to notice where in your body you feel those words and what it feels like. Ready? No. No, you can't. You're wrong. No. Open the eyes. I know, please don't hate me for saying those words. Just notice where you felt them. Chances are you felt them maybe in your head or your heart or your gut, and it probably felt like a contraction, like a squeezing, a tightening, a tension of some kind, maybe a defensiveness. So all in all, pretty unpleasant. Now let's do the exercise again. I think you'll like it better this time. Close the eyes or leave them partially open. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, relax. So again, I'd like you to notice where in your body you feel the words I'm about to say and what it feels like. Yes. Yes, you can. You're right. Yes. So open the eyes, and this time, chances are you might still have felt it in the heart or in the gut or in the head, but this time maybe it was a feeling of lightness or expansion, a feeling of warmth, maybe a little smile on the face. And these sensations tend to be very pleasant. So here's the thing, whenever you're reacting to other people's words like mine, I had no reason to say yes or no to you, but when I said it, it created a feeling in your body. And it was either an unpleasant sensation, for example, when I said no, or a pleasant one when I said yes. And if we're not aware, we can spend our entire life in that cycle of action and reaction, always reacting to the sensations in our body. What meditation shows us how to do is to be aware of the sensations with equanimity. Equanimity is a word that in itself can completely change your life. I know it really changed mine. Equanimity basically means that you're not reacting, you're not judging, and you're keeping the balance of your mind through all experiences. So on the one hand, you're aware of the sensation, let's say an unpleasant sensation coming up, and instead of having an aversion to it, just allow it to be. Total equanimity. Keep the balance of your mind. And what you'll notice is that the sensation comes, it stays a while, and then it fades away. And this is the law of impermanence, anicca. So this law of impermanence tells us that every sensation we have, every itch, every scratch, every pain, every thought, every emotion, it doesn't last. So rather than getting all riled up and getting into some reactions that maybe we'll regret, we can just allow the sensation to come up, have a little moment, a little pause between the action and reaction, and decide, choose, how do you want to react? Viktor Frankl, who's a Holocaust survivor, he has a famous quote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies your ability to choose your response. And in your choice lies your growth, happiness, and freedom." So if this makes sense to you, that what we're reacting to is really just the sensation in our body and not something outside of ourselves, and that we can be empowered. We don't have to be a victim to circumstance. We can actually be empowered in the way we react to things by being aware of the sensation that it brings up in our body. As soon as we become aware of the sensations, already there's a little bit of distance from it, and it loses some of its power. Think of it like every time I react to the sensations that come up, that it's like adding fuel on a fire. It's actually reinforcing a neural pathway in the brain. So in yoga, we call it samskara. In neuroscience, it's a neural pathway that's being reinforced. When we observe it in equanimity, meaning without judgment or reaction, then it's equivalent to not adding fuel on the fire. And the law of nature is such that when you stop adding fuel, it starts to use up the fuel that's already there. And in that way, those reactions get less and less intense, and eventually they can be completely eradicated. Or the neuroscience way, the neural pathway changes. And this is equivalent to the liberation from suffering. Think if every negative reaction, every craving, every aversion you had, all of a sudden you didn't have the need to react to it, you just let it slide off of you, by definition, you are liberated from suffering. Nothing can affect you. It doesn't mean that you're unfeeling, it just means that you feel things with the knowledge of anicca, which is impermanence, that everything is always changing. So when things are good, you can really appreciate it and be present to it and grateful without that constant little attachment or craving of how can I hang on to this good feeling, and what if it leaves, what if it goes away? Well, it will. It's always changing, so you appreciate it while it's there. And same thing when things are bad and you have that feeling of aversion, you can kind of loosen your aversion, loosen how bad you feel, because you understand that it's not going to last, that everything's always changing. So you don't need to prolong your suffering. Emotions last about 90 seconds. Thoughts last a fraction of a second. Even pain can intensify and dissipate. So we don't have to be attached to those things that cause us suffering. So the Buddhists will say that pain is a part of life, but that the suffering part is optional. So I hope that this was useful for you and that it made sense. And if it did, please leave me a comment below if you would like me to also create a video where I talk about the meditation technique and guide you through it so that you can start to practice it at home on your own. Please leave me a comment or leave me a message. I would love to do this for you. If you're in the Montreal area and you think that your workplace would benefit from a meditation workshop or series, again, you can message me, find me on Facebook, on Instagram, or here on YouTube, and it would be such a pleasure. This is something that I really believe in, I'm super passionate about, and I love to teach. Please give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, follow me on Instagram, and I look forward to sharing more about this in future. Until the next video, have a wonderful week. Here's an illustration of the law of impermanence. Lily will come, she will stay a while, and then she will go.